Thank you, everyone. So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to TCS Verbal Ability NQT exam from CVCORP. Okay, so in this verbal ability one, we will understand how much time you need to complete this exam, what kind of questions you're all going to get, and what topics we have to cover in the meantime. Okay, so let's just quickly get started without any delay. So, yes. So, TCS communication skill exam pattern is what first we are going to look at. So, the exam time duration is going to be 25 minutes, guys. So, the time duration that they will give you for communication is going to be 25 minutes, and the questions are also going to be 25. So, in the given span of 25 minutes, how will you be able to complete all the 25 questions? Now, that's what we are going to primarily focus for now. So, even before that, let's understand what topics we have to cover to utilize the 25 minutes for 25 questions. Okay, so the topics that we are going to cover today: reading comprehension, sentence correction, parajumble, vocabulary, error spotting, sentence completion, and fill in the blanks. Now, most of the topics that if you look at, they seem very familiar. But what happens is that when you actually sit for the exam, out of nervousness or maybe anxiousness, we might not really able to catch the answer. And that's what now we are going to focus on, how to overcome it. Okay. So reading comprehension, we've been doing it like ever since we're in schooling, but the kind of complexity that we will have to deal with just only gets increased. Now, to reduce it in the given span, reading comprehension is actually an advantage, and let me tell you how. Okay, in the 25 minutes, imagine they have given you one reading comprehension. Now, in one reading comprehension, you are going to get at least minimum of 3 questions and maximum of 5 questions. Now, if you look at it on the bright side, it's an advantage because 25 questions, 25 minutes, which means if we can spend 2 or 2.5 minutes for reading one comprehension, we are on the bright side of it, because within those 2 to 3 minutes, we can complete 5 questions. Okay, next, sentence correction. So, sentence correction is just like it might have articles error in it, or it might have verbs error in it, or it might also have tenses error in it. Next, parajumble. Now, parajumble is the subject and object places, the way they give you is going to be misplaced. Now, you have to arrange it in the proper order. Sometimes the parajumble can also be, they will give you 4 options in the misplaced order. Now you have to read and understand which sentence comes first and which one comes later. Next, talking about vocabulary. Now, vocabulary is something that we got to be very careful, because it doesn't just involve synonyms, it also involves antonyms. So vocabulary is a combination of finding out synonyms and antonyms. Next, error spot. Again, error spot and sentence correction, they both go hand in hand, which means the kind of errors that you'll find in the sentence correction is also going to be the same kind of ones that you're going to find in error spotting. Next comes sentence completion. So they will give you one question and you'll have a couple of options. So you need to pick up what best suits that particular sentence. Next, fill in the blanks. Now, fill in the blanks is also same. They will give you one sentence, they'll give you options. You need to figure it out as per, whatever fixes the statement. Now, let's get into the reading comprehension. Okay. So let's just look at a couple of examples for reading comprehension. Let's read the passage and let's find out answers for that. Okay, so now we can see a paragraph. Now, if you look at this paragraph, the dolphins one, it is majorly repeated in a lot of TCS exams. Okay, now let's just read the pattern of how we have to follow in the exam. Okay, dolphins are considered one of the friendliest creatures on earth. They are known for their intelligence, social behavior, and playful nature. Dolphins often live in groups called pods, where they display strong bonds with each other. Their ability to communicate and cooperate with one another is extraordinary. Dolphins have been observed helping injured or sick pod members by guiding them to the surface for air. Moreover, they're also famous for their interactions with humans. There are many reports of dolphins assisting swimmers, guiding them away from dangerous areas, or even protecting them from sharks. These behaviors have earned dolphins a reputation as symbol of peace and harmony. Their friendly demeanor is a result of their complex social structures, and researchers believe that dolphins' high cognitive abilities play a significant role in their social interactions. Now, this is the paragraph. Now, what is more important is, especially for TCS exam, we must have good reading ability, because only when we have good reading ability, that's when we can try to answer most of the questions. Okay, so in this one, now let's understand what is the question they have asked us. As suggested in the passage, what is one reason for dolphins' friendly nature? Now, here we have found a lot of vocabulary, like their ability to communicate, cooperate with one another, extraordinary, dolphins have been observed helping injured or sick pod members. And if you notice, there's also another point that talked about their cognitive abilities, and also it also talked about the social behavior, okay, and also social interactions. Now when you read a paragraph, this is what you actually have to primarily focus on, that is figuring out which word sounded pretty similar and important for this particular passage. Now what is one reasons for dolphins friendly nature? Now it's pretty understood that because of its complex social structures and cognitive abilities. Now this is the answer. Now that's what you can clearly find, that their high cognitive abilities play a significant role in the social interaction. Now the social interaction itself means that they are friendly nature. Now we can clearly make out what is it talking about. So the first thing what you have to do is, when you're reading a paragraph, try to point out what is an important or what actually is playing a significant role for the passage. Now that is what you have to understand here, okay. Now let's go with the next one. So here in this paragraph, in the modern world, the importance of physical fitness cannot be overstated. Exercise is essential not just for maintaining a healthy weight, but for strengthening the immune system, improving mental health, and enhancing overall well-being. A sedentary lifestyle, on the other hand, can lead to various health problems including obesity, okay, heart disease, depression. Therefore, it is crucial for individuals to incorporate physical activity into their daily routine, okay. And what else do they have to do? Walking, running, yoga, and many other forms of exercises, okay. So this one they are talking about what is the main idea of this passage, okay. So what are they talking about is what, like when you read the passage, this is what you need to make out. What is it directly telling us? Now here I have just given you one question, but like I said previously, you will get minimum 3 to 4 questions from each of the paragraph. Now this one you can understand what is the main idea of the passage. Now the options that they have given us is, physical fitness is necessary for good health. Exercise should be avoided in daily life. Obviously you have to remove this option, because here they have clearly stated walking and running is important. Next, mental health is unrelated to physical activity. Now this also doesn't really substitute the kind of answer that we are looking for. Now they have given you another option called, exercise is essential not just for maintaining healthy weight. Now you can understand this one as well. Now here, a sedentary lifestyle on the other hand can lead to various health problems. Now which means even a sedentary lifestyle is beneficial is also not a correct option, because here they're clearly saying that a sedentary lifestyle on the other hand can lead to various health problems. Now the correct answer is physical fitness is necessary for good health, okay. Yeah, so like I was saying, when you're reading a paragraph, you need to try to understand the gist of it and try to figure out what is important for that particular passage, okay. Let's look at the next one, guys, okay. So this one, the advent of artificial intelligence, okay. Now even before I start reading this passage, I want all the students to understand the kind of reading comprehensions that we are going to get now. Especially when we take exam in recent times, they will take topics that are pretty current, okay. Topics like ChatGPT, topics like AI. So such topics are very contemporary, okay. So focus on contemporary reading comprehensions when you practice. I mean, it might help you when you're actually taking the exam, okay. Now let's get into the passage. The advent of artificial intelligence has opened up new possibilities for technological advancements, okay. So now let's understand new possibilities for technological advancement, from self-driving cars to intelligent healthcare system. While AI promises significant benefits, okay. Now till here, whatever we have read, it sounds pretty positive. Now let's look at the other side of it. It also brings concerns regarding job displacement, okay, ethical dilemmas, potential misuse of technology. Now the first very 1.5 to 2 lines of passage, whatever we have read, talked all positive things. Now continuation, you can clearly understand it's talking about the negatives. Next, as AI continues to evolve, it is crucial to establish regulatory framework to ensure it is used responsibly and safely. This balance between innovation and control will shape the future of AI in the coming decades. Okay, now let's understand what is the question. What is one potential negative consequence of AI? Now the question is clear. Like I said, the first 2 lines are actually focusing on the positive and the next 2 lines are focusing on the negative. Now the question is based on what is one potential negative consequence of AI. So increased job opportunities, that's positive, but what they are here asking us is negative. Next, ethical dilemmas and misuse. Okay, now we'll come back to this option. Advancements in self-driving cars. Now, if you can see here, advancement from self-driving cars is actually a possibility, which means it's actually something that they're talking about, a positive thing. Okay. Next, improvement in healthcare system. So improvement, the very word improvement itself means it is positive. But what have they asked us in the question? What is one potential negative consequence of AI? Ethical dilemmas and misuse. Now that's what we are looking at. Ethical dilemmas and potential misuse. So this is the negative. So likewise, what I would like to tell you is whenever you're reading a comprehension, the first primary rule you have to remember is when you're reading it, try to figure out the important points so that these points will help you when you're actually taking up a question. Now, this is what you have to do with the reading comprehension. So, in reading comprehension, if you can spend decent time of 2 or 2.5 minutes, that will help you to answer minimum of 3 questions and maximum of 5 questions. Again, I'm repeating. I want everyone to just listen to it little carefully. Reading comprehension is a must section in TCS verbal ability. All you have to do is spend a decent time of 2 or 2.5 minutes so that you will be able to answer at least 3 questions. I mean, maximum questions that will come maybe 5, or minimum questions definitely it's going to be 3. Okay? Yes, let's move with the next one. Any doubts, guys, regarding reading comprehension, please? Please, if you have any questions regarding reading comprehension, please feel free to type so that I will address all your questions. Thank you, everyone. So now let's come back to sentence correction. Okay, so sentence correction, let's look at it. So sentence correction example. So this actually is a question that was given in the year 2023. You can see that here. So sentence correction, this question was given in the year 2023. Let's look at the question. The manager along with his team. Now if you look at it, even before I explain, I want you all to focus on one very simple point. Everything seems almost similar. The only difference is here you can find were, here you can find was, is, and obviously have. So we have 4 different things. Let me just underline it for you. It is looking a little messy. So were, was, is, and have. So these 4 things we call them as helping verbs, guys. What do we call them as? Helping verbs. So basically what helping verbs helps us in? It helps us in tenses. Correct? Yes or no? So now these 4 are 4 different tenses. Now you need to understand where did it go wrong. Okay, the manager along with his team were present at the meeting. Next, the manager along with his team was present at the meeting. The manager along with his team is present at the meeting. The manager along with his team have been present at the meeting. Now let's try to eliminate options so that we can come back to the right answer. Why have been is wrong? Because we don't have an ing form in it. When you see have been in the sentence, bluntly you can understand you need to get the verb form in the ing. Okay, next, the manager along with his team is present at the meeting. You can clearly understand that it is not serving the purpose of present tense. Okay, so is also eliminated. Next, let's talk about was. Okay, we will come back because it is a right answer, as you can see. Now let's come back to it. Why were is not an answer? Because here this were is serving the purpose of manager, because manager is, we are talking about just one, which means it is addressed in singular form. So anything that's addressed in singular form, you need to understand we will not use were, instead we will use was. Were is only served for plural form, but here the manager, it is not the managers. That is the reason were is also wrong. And the right answer is the manager along with his team was present at the meeting, because was refers to manager, which means it is singular. Not just now, even in future, I want all of you to remember were is used for plural, whereas in was is used for singular. And here, since the manager, this is singular, this is what the correct answer is. I hope everybody understood. Yes? Just please comment yes if you have understood, guys. Any questions regarding this question? Okay. Let's look at the next question. Okay. This is another something that's related to tenses. Again, you need to identify the grammatically correct sentence. Now, what is grammatically correct here? Okay, she did not knew the answer to the question. She do not know the answer to the question. She did not know the answer to the question. She does not know the answer to the question. Now, everything looks almost similar. Correct? Yes or no? Did not, do not, did not, does not. Almost everything is in the simple present and simple past. Okay. Now, let's look at what are the, wrong options here. She does not know the answer to this question is wrong. Let me tell you why. Because does is actually used, okay, in the phrase of whenever you're talking about a regular action, a fact. She does not know cannot be the right answer, because here you're not either talking about a fact, or either you're not talking about a regular activity, or you're not even also talking about something that happens often. Correct? So she does not know the answer is a wrong option. When do you use does is? You will use does only when you're talking about regular actions, habits, facts. Now, none of it matches with this. Next, she did not know the answer to the question. Now, this is actually a right answer. Let me tell you why is it a right answer. The reason is because whenever you get did and did not. Okay, so let me tell you very clearly, did is actually used in the question form, whereas in didn't is used in the negative form. The moment you see did and did not, guys, let me tell you this very clearly, you can bluntly close your eyes and look for the V1 verb form. Whenever you have did and did not in the sentence, you will not use V2 or V3, which means did not came, did not understood, did not went. No, you will not use it like that. The reason is because did is actually past. Correct? Yes or no? Did is used in the past tense. Went, past. Gone, past. Ate, past. So two past forms of the verb never, it will not come in the same sentence. For example, the student did not attended the interview. Now it's a blunder. The reason is because did not is past, attended is also past. Okay, did not came. He did not came and meet me. Now he did not came and meet. Now did is also past, came is also past. So whenever you can understand the word did and did not, remember the verb has to be in the V1 form. So grammatically correct sentence is she did not know the answer to the question. Now she do not know, it will not come, because with she you will get only does. She did not knew. Like I said, knew is obviously a wrong answer. The reason is because manaki did not ani eppudu unte kuda daniki you will only get only no. Did not unna pratisari verb form anedi V1 untundi. You can make a note of it, guys. So like I said, did and did not meeku ye sentence lo kanpinchina, check for the verb in the V1 form. Okay, let's go with the next question. Parajumble. Okay, now this is where again you will have to spend a little time, because if they're given in the options like this, you have to read the complete paragraph and then you have to arrange. Okay, over time we have seen an increase in the number of people seeking mental health support. However, despite this, mental health issues continue to be stigmatized in many societies. This has encouraged governments and organizations to implement new programs and raise awareness. Mental health awareness campaigns have become increasingly popular in recent years. Okay, now when you read parajumbles like this, you have to look at things like however. They are called connectors, guys. Okay, however, in addition to, ఇలాంటివన్నీ కూడా మనం దేనికి యూస్ చేస్తామంటే దే ఆర్ కాల్డ్ as connectors. Like it is used as a connector between sentence to sentence, which means you can eliminate that, this particular paragraph definitely will not start with, however. Okay, now let's look at the explanation. Okay, so the first one introduces the increase in number of people seeking for mental health support. Now that's what it is. Over time, we have seen an increase in the number of people seeking mental health support, which means the answer is going to be A. Okay, next follows by explaining how mental health awareness campaigns are becoming more popular, which means over time we have seen an increase in the number of people seeking mental health support. Mental health awareness campaigns have become increasingly popular in recent years. Okay, next, why do we get B's again? It is adding a contrasting point. Okay, now when do we use however? Okay, so however is a contrast, which means this talks about a positive side of it. Now however adds a slightest different opinionated expression. Okay, so however, which means there's positive to it. Again, there is also a negative side to it. So, however, despite this, mental health issues continue to be stigmatized in many societies. This has encouraged governments and organizations to implement new programs and raise awareness. Okay, so now here you can understand A, D, B, C is the order. Now, let me tell you why A, D, B, C is the order is because the first one talks about what is the issue. The second one talks about the expression of it. The third one adds a different opinion. And the fourth one is a connector to the third point. So, when you read it, first of all, you need to look for connectors like however, in addition to, moreover. So, these words, they will not start the sentence. Okay, so that is an added point that you can remember. Next, let's look at this one. However, the rapid pace of technological change has raised concerns over privacy and security. Technology has brought about many benefits, including greater access to information and communication. Despite these concerns, many believe that benefits of technology far outweigh the risk. As technology continues to advance, it is important to strike a balance between innovation and safeguarding personal data. Now, again, if you notice in this passage, we have another connector called however. Like I said, so first of all, you can simply understand that this paragraph again is not going to start with A option. Okay, yes. So now if you look at it, benefits of technology is the first one that we are going to focus on. So the first option is going to be B, which means we are going to start off with B. Technology has brought about many benefits, including greater access to information and communication. Okay, so we have talked about the benefits of it. Next, one second. Yes, next. So after talking the benefits of it, now like I said, however, adds a little negative expression to the explanation, correct? So, however, the rapid pace of technological change has raised concerns over privacy and security. So again, this added negative expression to the first one. Again, this is going to be the next one. Despite these concerns, many believe that benefits of technology far outweigh the risk. As technology continues to advance, it is important to strike a balance between innovation and safeguarding personal data. Now, from the D option, you can clearly make out that it is the final judgment that they have regarding, the technological topic. So, again, if you notice here, so it is despite the concerns, which means the first one is a positive expression, second one is a negative expression, again the third one, and then again the fourth one. So that's what you can clearly make out from this passage. That, one second guys, yeah, so from this one you can clearly make out the first one is talking about the benefits, the second one is talking about the concerns, the third one is talking about the balance, and the last one is talking about the more impact that it is going to bring. So the order is B, A, D and C. Okay, if you look at it, this is the positive expression, this is the negative expression, and again to this one, this is a positive, and this is the overall explanation of what it is being told. Okay, let's look at the next one. Okay, so this one is also related to something, the one that we have done previously. Innovation is the driving force behind economic growth and technological advancements. In recent years, companies have been investing heavily in research and development to drive innovation. It has led to the creation of new industries, products and services. As a result, business that embrace innovation are often more competitive and successful. Okay, now with this passage we can clearly understand that it talks about different opinions. So A is actually talking about the introduction of the topic, whereas if you notice, so the first one is innovation is the driving force behind economic growth and technological advancement. In recent years, companies have been investing heavily in research and development to innovation. As a result, business that embrace innovation are often more competitive and successful. It has led to creation of new industries and product services. Now that's what we are talking about. Okay, so the options that we are going to go with are B, A, D and C. I hope everybody understood. The first one is introduction to the topic. Okay, in recent years companies have been investing, the introduction, and then Innovation is the driving force behind economic growth and technological advancements, because the first topic has introduced to talk about development and drive innovation. Now, again, next, if you talk about, as a result, business that embrace innovation are often more competitive and successful. So, out of all these factors, now finally, what is it leading to? It is leading to creation of new industries, products, and services. So now, when you're doing parajumbles, what I want you all to do is try to eliminate the connectors. Now, when I say eliminate the connectors, eliminate the point of connectors to be the first point. Okay. Next, the rest of the ones, try to understand what is introducing the topic. Okay. If you can make out in this whole sentences of parajumble, there is always one point that actually introduces the topic, and then the connectors come at the end, and the final opinion or the conclusion comes to be the last point. Okay. Yes. Vocabulary. Now, vocabulary plays an important role, guys. The reason is because what happens with vocabulary is that most of the words we use simple English. When we actually speak the language, we use simple English. Okay. And then there are a lot of words that we don't kind of listen in a regular basis of conversation, or maybe, even when we speak or when we talk, we don't kind of get to listen to such words. Now, how do you make out what is the right answer is? Through eliminating options. Always remember, when you don't know what is the answer, for example, there are a couple of questions, the moment you look at it, you can understand, okay, now this is the right answer, I know this answer. And then there are a couple of questions, you don't know what is what. So then the right process to pick out what is the right answer is through eliminating options. Okay, so there's a word called most opposite in the meaning. Now you can understand most opposite means here they are talking about the antonym kind of a word. So the most opposite word of optimistic. Now let's try to eliminate options. So positive, now understandable. Again, hopeful. Some, now if you notice, these two, they almost serve us the purpose of a similar meaning, correct? So somebody hopeful is positive. Now positive is they're hoping that something good will happen. So obviously we can eliminate both of the options. Next, joyful. Again, joyful is happy. You can see here, at least with the word optimistic and pessimistic, we can clearly make out optimistic is somebody who is positive, whereas in pessimistic is somebody who is actually very negative minded. Even in the interviews, when we introduce yourself, or when we introduce ourselves to the interviewer, also we say, I'm an optimistic person. Now, what do we mean by the word we are an optimistic person? We are positive people. So the opposite to the word optimistic is pessimistic. Now, if somebody says he's a pessimistic minded, now what do we mean by pessimistic minded? Somebody who's filled with all the negative thoughts, or somebody who's not so positive, then you call them as pessimistic. Okay, let's look at the next one. Another one. So the teacher's explanation was so dash that even the most complicated topics seemed simple. Now you can understand, here it is talking about something positive, and then even the most complicated topics seem simple. So what you can understand here is the teacher's explanation was so, okay, dot dot, that even the most complicated, which means here it is something is like, explanation was good, explanation was understandable. That we can clearly make out because they're talking about complicated topics. Okay, so let's talk about convoluted. The word convoluted actually means in the language, it is difficult, it is complicated, it is intricate, which means something that's too difficult to understand is what you call convoluted. Okay, again, vague also serves the same, it is unclear. Okay, next, confusing. Again, unclear and confusing. So you can make out that the answer is the teacher's explanation was so clear that even the most complicated topic seemed simple, because it is a very complicated topic, but even after it is a complicated topic, the explanation was, she explained in such a clear way, even that the complicated topics also seemed pretty simple. So what you have to do is, when you're picking out options from the vocabulary, always try to eliminate options so that you can find your way to reach out to the right answers. Okay, next, the student's response was so dot dot that the teacher had no idea what he was trying to say, which means you can clearly understand there was a student who's talking something, but then the teacher still has not understood. So obviously you can eliminate the option clear there, correct, that the teacher had no idea. Okay, the meaning of the word articulate is explaining something in a very clear way. That is the word called articulate. Now I want all of you to remember the word articulate. Articulate the information properly, which means, somebody has done in the clear, framed, organized way of information is what you call articulate. Okay. So now articulate also doesn't really fix. The reason is because here the sentence is clearly serving the purpose that no idea, which means it is unclear actually. So precise. I hope you all must have heard the word precise. We use it in our regular conversations as well. Precise is something simple, cut short, brief. These are the synonyms that we can use for precise. So ambiguous is the only option that is left now. Ambiguous means too many things put together and not explaining the content properly is what you call the word ambiguous, which means it's confused, it's not well organized, it's not well put up, and whatever we are trying to tell is not actually matching the content is what we call ambiguous. So now what is the right answer? Students' response was so ambiguous that the teacher had no idea what he was trying to say. Now I want you all to pick up these words so that it might help you when you're actually taking the exam. Clear is a wrong answer. Ambiguous means unclear or confusing. Okay. Articulate is well expressed information. Okay. Precise is again brief. Let's go with the next question. Okay. Now this one, benevolent. Okay. So here they want to choose the word opposite, which means the meaning opposite, like antonym. So now you need to find out the antonym of the word benevolent. Okay. So compassionate. So somebody who's compassionate is somebody who's like very empathetic. Correct? And again, helpful. Helpful itself means empathetic. Compassionate. So both of them almost give us the similar answer. Why do they will, give us this similar kind of an answer? Two options cannot be, given correct. So these two to be eliminated. Again, kind, compassionate, kind, helpful. All three almost looks similar. All three almost, sound similar when you actually put them in the sentence for the expression. Correct? Now the right answer is actually cruel. Okay. So benevolent itself means somebody who is kind, who is compassionate, who is empathetic to people. Now the right answers are already given three correct answers possible. No chance, right? So kind is positive. Helpful is positive, compassionate is positive. Now, all of it gives us the words for humble and empathetic. So, the meaning of the word benevolent is actually somebody who is kind, humble and grounded. So, opposite to humble and grounded is cruel. So, the correct answer is cruel. Okay. So, kind is a wrong answer, helpful is a wrong answer, compassionate is also a wrong answer, cruel is the right answer because benevolent means kind, helpful, compassionate, humble. Okay. Let's go with the next one. So the manager's attitude was so ... that it motivated the entire team to work harder. Now you can understand. Pessimistic. If you remember this word, I already told you with the expression that pessimistic, which means negative minded. If it is negative minded, why the employees will feel motivated? Here it clearly says that the manager's attitude has motivated the entire team, which means it's a positive expression of a statement. Correct? Yes or no? Now tense. If it's tense, obviously people will not get motivated. Correct? Indifferent. Now indifferent doesn't really explain that it is positive. Correct? So it motivated. Now the very meaning of the word motivated itself means because someone's behavior is so inspiring, which means the right answer is actually inspiring. So the manager's attitude was so inspiring that it motivated the entire team to work harder. Now I want everyone to understand, whenever you're actually checking out for an answer, please just try to eliminate options so that you can figure out a way to reach to the correct answer. Okay? Yes. Next. This is the fill in the blanks kind of a question that you're going to get. So her dash nature made her the perfect candidate for the job, as she was always attentive to details and sensitive to her co-workers' needs. Now rebellious, obviously no. If someone is rebellious, obviously they might not pay attention to the details, or they might definitely not be sensitive. Correct? Next, apathetic. Now I want everyone to learn this word called apathetic. You must have heard the word called sympathetic, empathetic, and another word we have is empathetic. Okay, apathetic. I repeat, sympathetic, empathetic and apathetic. Now the difference between all these three words are like the thin line. Okay. Sympathy means somebody who is just like, listening to you and just consoling you. Only consoling is sympathy. Now empathy is they are actually imagining themselves in your situation, which means we use a statement called, she has seen herself in my shoes, which means whenever she's passing a statement, or whenever she is kind of trying to listen to me, she is imagining herself in my situation. Now that is what you call empathy. Okay, now empathetic is, it is very less emotional or maybe no emotions at all. Okay, so that is what you call as apathetic. Okay, I hope everybody understood the word apathetic. Remember these three words: sympathetic, empathetic, and apathetic. Okay, so obviously apathetic is not the answer. Next, indifferent. If somebody is indifferent, then they can't be attentive to details, they can't be sensitive, and they are also not the perfect candidate for that particular job. So here you can easily understand that the answer is compassionate, which means her compassionate nature made her the perfect candidate for the job, as she was always attentive to details and sensitive to her co-workers' needs. Okay, yes. Next, choose the word that best completes the sentence. Despite his initial, he eventually accepted the offer after careful consideration. Okay, now this is something that we need to look carefully at. Enthusiasm? No. Here you need to look at the word eventually, guys. So eventually is basically delay. Like finally, eventually, వేరే ఏది ఆప్షన్ లేకుండా ఇంకా నాకు ఏ ఆప్షన్ లేదు కాబట్టి. So eventually అంటే slow process లో they started to accept, or they started to take up a decision, or they started to do something. Got it, everyone? So eventually something that's slower. Okay, so enthusiasm can't be an answer. Next, okay, hesitation. Okay, let's come back to this word. Agreement can't be an answer. Curiosity also can't be an answer, because curiosity and enthusiasm are correlated. Correct? Yes or no? So now the answer is hesitation. The reason is because despite his initial hesitation, he eventually accepted the offer after careful consideration. The meaning of the word hesitation is సందేహించడం. చాలా మంది hesitation అంటే shy అనుకుంటారు. Shy is different, hesitate is different. Okay, so here despite his initial hesitation, so కొంచెం సందేహిస్తూ ఉంటే కూడా he eventually ఇంకా finally accepted the offer after careful consideration. అంటే చాలా ఆలోచించి ఆచితూచి కొంచెం సందేహించినా కూడా finally they have accepted the offer. So here you will get the word hesitation. Hesitation means సందేహించడం, because here you will not get enthusiasm, it's positive. If it is positive, you will not have eventually. Curiosity, again it's a positive word to enthusiasm. Agreement, okay, despite his initial agreement, obviously agreement doesn't really kind of give us the explanation to that particular statement. Okay, yes, let's listen to the next one. Fill in the blanks. Okay, in this one you have to focus on she was running when I have seen. Now you need to find what is the error. Always remember, was is basically past tense, which means it's past continuous tense helping verb. Okay, next, have seen. Now this is actually present perfect. Correct? Yes or no? So one past tense and one present perfect tense. No mismatch. So obviously the wrong answer is she was running when I have seen her at the park. You will not get helping verbs from two different tenses. I hope everybody understood how to find out errors. The right way to find out errors in tenses is it has to be from the same tense, and definitely it should not be one from the past tense and one from the present tense, especially when it is a connected statement. Okay, yeah. Next, so have seen, she was running when I saw her at the park. Like I said, because have seen is actually a wrong answer, you will not use was and have seen together. Okay, so the sentence should be used in the past tense, or instead of the present perfect, have seen, since the action occurred in the past. Like I was saying, since it's a connected statement, they are not two different statements. Okay, they are connected statements, so you cannot have one statement in the past and one statement in the present. Like you look at, was is past and have seen is actually present. Next, okay, she is an honest woman and always keeps her promises. Now here I want to make something very clear to you guys. That is, just because it is given in the error correction, do not sit yourself with a mindset that it is given in the error correction, so 100% there is going to be an error. No, that's not how it works. Sometimes there might also be no error in the sentence. Okay, so this is one such sentence. Okay, she is an honest woman. Now people might think, okay, that can be she is a honest woman. And honest, no, it doesn't really sound, because it is given h, and we all know whenever we have consonants, what do we get? We get a, correct? Now just because h is consonant, we will think that we will get a. No, but that's not what it is. H is actually honest, which means h goes silent, guys. Now when h goes silent, we pronounce it as honest, which means again we are giving the sound of an vowel. What sound we are getting? Vowel sound. So that is a reason, and honest is something that you have to use. Not just for honest, I want you all to remember, okay, our, honest, honor, all the three words, all these three words, remember, again make a note of it. Whenever you get in the articles, remember to write the answer is and. The reason is because you will not get a with the vowel sound. Do not look at the vowel letters and consonant letters. Instead, I want you all to look at it as vowel sounds and consonant sounds. Since honest is pronounced as honest but not honest, we will not say she is an honest woman. No, we will not pronounce it as honest. We will pronounce it as honest. Since honest is giving us the vowel sound, so answer is she is an honest woman, which means it has no error. Like I said, just because it is given in the error correction, do not think that it has error. Next, like I said, it's the explanation. No error. She's an honest woman and always keeps her promises. There is no error, as honest begins with vowel sound h, which means it goes h. H goes silent. Okay. Yes. The next one. So identify the error in the following sentence. Although he was tired, but he finished his work. Now you can understand what is the meaning of although. Although he was tired. Ante ainappatiki. ఓకే, సో ఆల్తో అని చెప్పడానికి మనం ఏమంటాము? అయినప్పటికీ అని చెప్తాము. బట్ అంటే ఏంటి? కానీ. అంటే అయినప్పటికీ కానీ అనేది రెండు కూడా ఏదో ఒక సెంటెన్స్ని ఇట్ సౌండ్స్ లైక్ ఇట్ ఇస్ స్టాపింగ్ సంథింగ్. కరెక్ట్? ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? సో ఆల్తో హీ was tired but. Now your but is actually wrong, guys. The reason is because although he was tired, he finished his work. అంటే ఏంటి? తను టైర్డ్ గా ఉన్నప్పటికీ తను తన వర్క్ ని ఫినిష్ చేశాడు. Then we will not get the conjunction but here in this sentence. Words like but, so, and, all these are called as conjunctions, and for this particular sentence we will not get the conjunction but. The reason is because here the purpose of the sentence is already told in the word although. Ante tan tired unnadu, although he was tired, but then also he finished his work, which means the but is already given in although. I hope everybody understood that. Although he was tired, he finished his work. Ante tanu tired ga unnappatiki, but aina. So ee mottam expression kalipi kuda manaki endulo vachestundi, we are getting it in the word although. Okay, so here but is an error. Okay, but although he was tired, he finished his work, which means the conjunction although has already served the purpose of connecting the clause. So but is redundant and incorrect. Like I said, although lone manaki but expression kuda vachestundi kabatti ee particular sentence lo manam but anedi vaadam. Okay, yes. Next, okay, look at this sentence. I want everyone to kind of look at this sentence little carefully. The reason is because Maria and Jennifer went to the store and she bought some fruits. Okay, find the error. Let me tell you something very clearly. So there's a candidate called Maria and then there's a candidate called Jennifer. They both went to the store. She bought some fruits. Now, she is addressed as who? Which means, is it Maria or is it Jennifer? Read the sentence. Maria and Jennifer went to the store and she bought some fruits. Now, she, is it Maria or is it Jennifer? I want you all to kind of comment, or if there is no error or if it is right, can you all please just comment? Okay, she. I am glad that everybody said she. That is a correct error. The reason is because here she is not referring to the person, which means it's grammatically a wrong statement. Okay, it doesn't really explain us what is it even talking about. Correct? All the ones who commented she, I'm really proud of you people. Okay, so Maria and Jennifer went to the store and she bought some fruits. She is actually an error. The reason is because she has, which means the she has to be a name of a person. So Maria and Jennifer went to the store and Maria bought some fruits. Now in this place it can be Jennifer also. It doesn't have to be Maria. Okay, but here there should be the name of at least one of the persons. I hope I made it clear, guys. ఇక్కడ ద సెంటెన్స్ లో మారియా అండ్ జెనిఫర్ వెంట్ టు ద స్టోర్ అండ్ మారియా బాట్ సమ్ ఫ్రూట్స్ అని ఇచ్చారు. ఇక్కడ షీ అనేది మనకు అక్కడ సెంటెన్స్ లో ఎలా రిఫర్ చేశారో తెలియదు కాబట్టి షీ అనేది ఎర్రర్. కానీ ఇక్కడ మారియా అయినా కూడా అయి ఉండొచ్చు, జెనిఫర్ అయినా కూడా అయి ఉండొచ్చు. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, ఇఫ్ ఐఎమ్ టాకింగ్ అబౌట్ మై సెల్ఫ్, అమల అండ్ అఖిల వెంట్ టు ద స్టోర్. అఖిల బాట్ సమ్ clothes. Now I went, my friend also went, I might have not bought clothes. Okay, so ఇద్దరిలో ఎవరో ఒకళ్ళది పేరు అనేది ఉండడం అయితే ఇట్ ఇస్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఓకే, సో లెట్స్ గో విత్ ద నెక్స్ట్ క్వశ్చన్. Identify the error in the following sentence. By the time she arrives, we will have complete the task. Guys, always remember arrives. ఓకే, ఇక్కడ నేను మీకు ఒక చిన్న లాజిక్ చెప్తాను, గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. మనకి వర్బ్ ఫార్మ్స్ ఉన్నాయి కదా, V1 V2 V3 అనేది. వర్బ్ ఫార్మ్స్లో ఎస్పెషల్లీ ఎస్ ఫార్మ్ అనేది ఎప్పుడు వస్తుంది అంటే వెన్ వీఆర్ టాకింగ్ అబౌట్ an action that regularly happens, which means she eats, she talks, she dances, she sings. Now ఎప్పుడైతే మనకి ఇది వస్తుందో then you can clearly understand that it is basically simple present tense. ఓకే, సింపుల్ చిన్న గుర్తులాగా పెట్టేసుకోండి. వర్బ్ ఫార్మ్స్ లో ఎస్ ఫార్మ్స్ అనేవి ఎప్పుడైతే వస్తాయో అప్పుడు అది ఖచ్చితంగా ఏమవుతుంది, సింపుల్ ప్రెసెంట్ అవుతుంది. సో సింపుల్ ప్రెసెంట్ అండ్ విల్ మనందరికీ తెలుసు, విల్ ఇస్ యాక్చువల్లీ ఫ్యూచర్ టెన్స్. ఇందాక నేను మీకు ఒకటి చెప్పాను, ఒక కనెక్టింగ్ స్టేట్మెంట్లో మనకి రెండు డిఫరెంట్ టెన్సెస్ రాకూడదు. సో ఇక్కడ మనకి ఏమొచ్చింది, షీ అరైవ్స్ అంటే ఇట్ ఇస్ ఇక్కడ నుంచి ఇక్కడ వరకు ఇట్ ఇస్ టాకింగ్ అబౌట్ సింపుల్ ప్రెసెంట్. వీ విల్ హ్యావ్ కంప్లీటెడ్, అగైన్ దిస్ ఇస్ టాకింగ్ అబౌట్ ఫ్యూచర్ పర్ఫెక్ట్. కాబట్టి హియర్ వీ విల్ నాట్ సే బై ద టైమ్ షీ అరైవ్స్. సో అరైవ్ ఇస్ యాక్చువల్లీ యాన్ ఎర్రర్ హియర్. ఓకే, అందరికి అర్థమవుతుందా? సో వీ విల్ హ్యావ్ కంప్లీటెడ్ ద టాస్క్ ఇస్ యాక్చువల్లీ, విచ్ మీన్స్ from here to here it is called as future perfect tense. Okay, and by the time she ఇక్కడ arrives రాదు, because arrives అనేది ఏ టెన్స్ అంటే it is called as simple present tense. మీరు సింపుల్ ప్రెజెంట్ టెన్స్ని ఎలా గుర్తుపట్టాలో నేను మీకు మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి చెప్తాను, క్లియర్గా వినండి. మనకిచ్చిన సెంటెన్స్ వర్బ్ ఫామ్లో ఎప్పుడైతే మనకి వర్బ్ ఫామ్లో ఎస్ అనేది కనిపిస్తుందో, ఎస్ అంటే ఎలా కనిపిస్తుంది, ఈట్స్, స్లీప్స్, డ్రింక్స్, టాక్స్, డాన్సెస్, ఓకే, పర్ఫార్మ్స్, ఇలా ఎస్ ఫామ్ ఏది కనిపిస్తే కూడా యూ కెన్ సింప్లీ రిమెంబర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ సింపుల్ ప్రెజెంట్ టెన్స్. కాబట్టి ఇక్కడ కరెక్ట్ ఆన్సర్ ఏమవుతుంది అంటే యాక్చువల్లీ రాంగ్ ఆప్షన్ ఏమవుతుంది, అరైవ్స్. గాట్ ఇట్? ఎస్. Okay, look here. By the time she arrived, we will have completed the task. The sentence talks about an event that will happen before another event in the future, which requires the past tense arrived instead of arrives. Endukante we are talking by the time, which means next. By the time ante the very simple statement of the meaning by the time ante ఇంకా అవ్వలేదు, నెక్స్ట్ డే ఈ టైంకి ఏదో ఒకటి అవుతుంది అంటే ఇట్ మస్ట్ హ్యావ్ కంప్లీటెడ్. అగైన్ ఇట్ టాక్స్ అబౌట్ అ కాంబినేషన్ ఆఫ్ ప్రెజెంట్ అండ్ పాస్ట్ ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్. ఓకే, ఎస్. Next, error spotting. The company have decided. Guys, simple. Look at this one. The company. So, the company. Is it singular or plural, guys? I want you all to just leave a comment. The company, which means the company is it singular or is it plural? Okay, the company is not plural, guys. Let me tell you why it is not plural. Okay, the companies, then it is plural. What is the plural form of company? Companies, correct. So company itself means singular, simple. Why did you think it is plural? Because it has too many people in it. People is again plural. But we are addressing an organization, a single form. That's why we say company. So the company is singular. So whenever you have singular, you will not get have, which means, let me make it little clear for you here. So company is singular. Okay, companies, it is plural. So when you get like this, okay, here you will get has and here you will get have. Now what I want you to understand, for all the singulars, remember and make a note, for all the singulars you will use only has, and for all the plurals you will use only have, which means now you can clearly make out, since the company, which means it is singular, you will get the option the company has decided, and have is wrong. So the right option here is the companies have decided. I hope I explained it and you people got an understanding of what is the wrong option. Can I see an yes, please? Okay, guys. So let's move with the next question. Okay. So like I said, again, let's just look at the quick explanation. Have decided, the company is a singular noun. So the verb should be has instead of have. Like I said, the company is singular. So with all singulars, you will get only has. With all plurals, you will get have. Let's go with the next question. So, this question is my favorite, guys. Let me tell you why this question is my favorite. The reason is because people tend to have a lot of confusion with the word each. Each is actually individual addressal, which means each is singular. Okay, like let me write a couple of words here. Everyone. Okay, now I will leave it to you. Everyone, everything, something, nothing. Okay, everybody, anybody, nobody, somebody, you name it, we have a list. వీటన్నిటికీ కూడా మనం ఏం వాడాలో తెలుసా? సింగులర్ మాత్రమే వాడాలి. I want everyone to listen to it carefully, not just in the grammatical expression. Even when we talk, people say everyone are coming. No, everyone is coming because it is individual addressal, guys. Okay, somebody are coming. No, somebody is coming. Okay, and next people also say everything are possible. No, everything is possible. But people mostly make it with everyone. Everyone are coming, everyone are going, everyone are rejecting, everyone are taking part. No, that's a blunder, guys. Every time you use the word called everyone, remember it to be a singular, which means everyone is coming. Okay, everyone is taking part. Likewise, it applies the same for the word each. Each is also actually used in the singular form of expression. So each of the employees were given. No, each of the employees were given is actually a wrong option. You have to say each of the employees was given, which means each of the employees, individual, each. If we call as a team, as a group, then were is correct. But here the expression each means each and every single person. So the addressal goes as singular. So what you have to remember, each of the employees was given a certificate. So the wrong option is were given. I hope everybody understood. Yes, thank you. Let's go with the next one. Okay, look at it again. Each is singular, so the verb should be was instead of were. Always remember, each is singular. Okay, yes. Next, sentence completion. The company's decision to invest in renewable energy is dash step towards environmental sustainability. Okay, stagnant is stuck. Reckless, again, it's bad. Okay, regressive, which means there's no progress to it. Okay, so the company's decision to invest in renewable energy is a progressive step. Progressive is going forward. So you can clearly understand by these particular words. Stagnant is stuck. Reckless is not being responsible. Regressive is something that's not happening. There's no point in doing it, or there's no forward step to it. But progressive is something that's being taken step by step. So the answer is progressive. Okay, next one. The director's dash in handling the crisis earned him the respect of his team. Okay, panic, no, obviously no. If he's panic, it will not earn him respect. Correct? Yes or no? Panic is obviously, it's a bad word. Panic is somebody being anxious, somebody being nervous, somebody being worried. Confusion, no. Does confusion earn respect? No, it doesn't. Okay, indecisiveness, again, indecisiveness is also not a correct option. So obviously the answer is calmness. So the answer is the director's calmness. Okay, so the director's calmness in handling the crisis earned him the respect of his team. Okay, next. So calmness because it fits the content, because it suggests that the director handled the situation effectively with composure. Okay, yeah. Next one. So these are the primary things that we have covered, guys. I hope everybody understood. We have completed sentence completion, vocabulary, and fill in the blanks, and reading comprehension. So these are the topics that we are going to have, and tenses, obviously. So these are the topics. The few tips that I'd like to tell you, and then again I'll explain you tenses in detail so that you'll have a better understanding. Choose options wisely. The reason is because once you chose an option, sometimes you will not even have the time duration to go back and kind of, go back to and then click another option, because 25 questions, 25 minutes. Next, don't look around. Sometimes what happens is, when you start taking up the examination, we tend to look around in the air, but what you need to understand, each and every moment of yours is being captured by the virtual camera, correct? So I don't really recommend people to look around. Even if you're confused, even if you're thinking of an answer, try to only look at the monitor and then pick up an answer. Next one, read question completely. Let me tell you what happens, at least in English language, is that most of the times, the moment you read 2 to 3 words, we kind of go overconfident that I know this question, I've already prepared, I've seen it somewhere, and then you click on the wrong option very confidently. Okay, so I highly recommend all the students, when you're taking up the examination, try to read the question completely. Okay, next, utilize the whole time of 25 minutes. Now imagine you have completed your examination in the 20 minutes. Now just because you have completed in the 20 minutes, please try to not click on the submit button. Let it get auto submitted, but I want students to kind of wait, keep checking for answers so that you don't end up making mistakes. Okay, got it, everyone? So these are the verbal ability questions that you're going to get. Let me reiterate a little for you guys. Okay, 25 minutes is the exam time duration with 25 questions, and the topics that they're going to ask you, they are going to be, let me just show you once again, so that I want you people to make a note of it, maybe if it's going to be helpful for you. So the topics that they're going to ask you. So reading comprehension, sentence correction, parajumble, vocabulary, error spotting, sentence completion, fill in the blanks. So these are the topics that you're going to get most of the questions. Like I said, reading comprehension, you might have 3 to 5, which means minimum will be 3 and maximum, it's going to be 5. So I want everyone to kind of understand that if you spend decent time in the reading comprehension, out of 25 questions, you're going to almost cover 5 questions in 2 to 3 minutes. So reading comprehension plays a major role, guys. So that's pretty much it. I want you all to kind of ask me questions just in case if you have any. If not, I will explain you the simple tips of how to identify error corrections regarding tenses and also the verb forms. Okay? Yes, please. The comment section is open for you. I'm looking forward to questions. Any questions? Okay, guys. So most of you have little confusion with parajumbles. I understand. So let's look at parajumbles once again. I will just roughly explain it to you people one more time. The parajumble. What you have to do with the parajumbles is that, so they will give you option A, B, C, and D. Imagine the sentences are given. Now look for connectors. Okay. Now what do I mean by connectors is that, okay, so connectors like however. Okay, so connectors like therefore. Okay, so these things, the parajumbles, those particular statements, they will never ever start with however, guys, and they will also not start with connectors at any given point of time. So the right way to understand what is the right form. For example, ABCD is given. Now, how will you make out A option comes first or B option comes first? The purpose of understanding is that try to understand the introduction point of the parajumble, which means, okay, now let me just show you once the PDF. Okay, so let's look at this parajumble expression, guys. If you notice, though, let's look at and understand. However, we have seen an increase in the number of people seeking mental health awareness, which means this is basically an introduction point, introduction to mental health. Next, mental health awareness campaigns have been increasingly popular in recent years, which means this particular expression is helping out with this one. Next, okay, let's understand B, however, which means, like I said, however, despite, instead, all these things are connectors. So కాబట్టి బి ఆప్షన్తో అసలు సెంటెన్స్ స్టార్ట్ అయ్యే ఛాన్సే లేదు, బికాస్ బి డైరెక్ట్లీ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్స్ అబౌట్ ద డి ఆప్షన్. ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్, సో హవెవర్, excuse me, despite this, mental health issues continue to be stigmatized in many societies. So this has encouraged, అంటే ఈ మెంటల్ హెల్త్ ఇష్యూస్ అనేవి చాలా సొసైటీస్లో ఒక పారానార్మల్ యాక్టివిటీస్లో చూస్తున్నారు కాబట్టి దెన్ గవర్నమెంట్ హ్యాస్ స్టార్టెడ్ ఇనిషియేటెడ్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్ టు ఇంప్లిమెంట్ న్యూ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ అండ్ రేస్ అవేర్నెస్. అంటే మీరు పారాజంబుల్స్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు ఒక చిన్న లాజిక్ గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. వాట్ ఈస్ ఇంట్రడ్యూసింగ్ ద టాపిక్, నేను ఇక్కడ మీకు ఐ అనేది ఎందుకు రాశాను అంటే టు టెల్ యూ దట్ ఇచ్చిన పాయింట్స్లో వాట్ ఈస్ ఇంట్రడ్యూసింగ్ ద టాపిక్ అండ్ వాట్ ఈస్ ద నెక్స్ట్ కనెక్టింగ్ పాయింట్ టు ఇట్. And next, if there is anything that is negative and then there is any sort of a final opinion. Now final opinion అంటే ఫైనల్గా ఇంకా ఆ పారాగ్రాఫ్ని కంక్లూడ్ చేసే పాయింట్ ఒకటి ఉంటుంది. సో మీరు ఇలా డివైడ్ చేసుకుంటే మీకు ఈజీగా ఉంటుంది. నేను మళ్ళీ చెప్తున్నాను, క్లియర్గా వినండి. ఇంట్రడక్షన్ పాయింట్ ఏముంటుంది, నెక్స్ట్ దానికి కనెక్షన్ పాయింట్ ఏముంది, ఆర్ దానికి నెగిటివ్ పాయింట్ ఏముంది, ఫైనలీ ఆ పారాగ్రాఫ్ ఏదైతే ఉంటుందో ఆ టాపిక్ మొత్తాన్ని కంక్లూడ్ చేసే పాయింట్ ఏది ఉంది. సో మీరు ఈ రూల్ గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, ఇంట్రడక్షన్, connected one, if any negative expression, and final conclusion. So మనం ఇందులో అదే చేస్తున్నాము. ఓవర్ టైమ్ వీ హ్యావ్ సీన్ అన్ ఇంక్రీస్ ఇన్ ద నంబర్ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్ సీకింగ్ మెంటల్ హెల్త్ సపోర్ట్. అంటే బేసిక్గా టాపిక్ దేని గురించి మాట్లాడుతుంది, మెంటల్ హెల్త్ సపోర్ట్ గురించి మాట్లాడుతుంది. సో అది మనకి ఏం పాయింట్ అవుతుంది, ఇంట్రడక్షన్ పాయింట్ అవుతుంది. సో దానికి కనెక్షన్ అంటే దాని ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్ పాయింట్ ఏముంది, నెక్స్ట్ మెంటల్ హెల్త్ అవేర్నెస్. ఎందుకంటే మనం ఇక్కడ టాపిక్ దేంతో స్టార్ట్ చేసాము, మెంటల్ హెల్త్ సపోర్ట్తో స్టార్ట్ చేసాం కాబట్టి మెంటల్ హెల్త్ సపోర్ట్ని ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తూ మనకి నెక్స్ట్ ఇంకొక పాయింట్ ఇచ్చారు. ఏమని ఇచ్చారు, మెంటల్ హెల్త్ అవేర్నెస్ క్యాంపెయిన్స్ హ్యావ్ బికమ్ ఇంక్రీజింగ్లీ పాపులర్ ఇన్ రీసెంట్ టైమ్స్. అంటే మెంటల్ హెల్త్ అనేది టాపిక్, ఇంట్రడక్షన్, దానికి కనెక్షన్ పాయింట్ డి ఇచ్చారు. నెక్స్ట్ ఏం ఆప్షన్ ఇచ్చారు, హౌవెవర్. నేను ఇక్కడ అదే మీకు చెప్పాను, నెగటివ్ ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్ ఆఫ్ పాయింట్ అనేది ఇక్కడ ఉంది. సో నెగటివ్ ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్ ఆఫ్ పాయింట్ ఏంటి, హౌవెవర్ despite this mental health issue continues to be stigmatized in many societies. అంటే ఇక్కడ దీని గురించి మళ్ళీ నెగిటివ్ చెప్పారు. సో మెంటల్ హెల్త్ అవేర్నెస్ అనేది ఉంటే కూడా చాలా పాపులర్ అవుతుంది. పాపులర్ అవుతున్నప్పటికీ కూడా ఇంకా చాలా కమ్యూనిటీస్లో మెంటల్ హెల్త్ ఇష్యూస్ అనేవి ఎలా చూస్తున్నారు, ఒక ట్యాబు లాగా చూస్తున్నారనే చెప్తున్నారు. సో అలా చూస్తున్నారు కాబట్టి ఫైనల్ కంక్లూజన్ ఏమి ఇచ్చారు, దిస్ హ్యాస్ ఎంకరేజ్డ్ గవర్నమెంట్స్ అండ్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్ టు ఇంప్లిమెంట్ న్యూ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ అండ్ రేస్ అవేర్నెస్. సో ఇప్పుడు మీరు అర్థం చేసుకోవాల్సింది ఏంటి అంటే ఆ నెగిటివ్ ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్కి ఫైనల్ కంక్లూజన్ ఏమి ఇచ్చారు. సో గైస్ మీరంతా పారాజంబుల్స్ చేసేటప్పుడు క్విక్గా మీరు చదువుతున్నప్పుడు ఒకటికి రెండు సార్లు ఫస్ట్ మీరు అర్థం చేసుకోవాల్సింది ఏంటంటే ఇచ్చిన 4 పాయింట్స్లో ఏ పాయింట్ అనేది టాపిక్కి ఇంట్రొడక్షన్ ఉంది. మళ్ళీ చెప్తున్నాను వినండి, ఇచ్చిన 4 పాయింట్స్లో ఏ పాయింట్ అనేది టాపిక్కి ఇంట్రొడక్షన్ ఉంది. దాని తర్వాత సెకండ్ మీరు నోటీస్ చేయాల్సింది ఏంటి అంటే ఆ ఇంట్రొడక్షన్ పాయింట్కి ఏదైనా కనెక్టెడ్ పాయింట్ ఉందా, ఆర్ ఇంట్రొడక్షన్ పాయింట్కి ఏదైనా నెగిటివ్ ఎక్స్ప్లెనేషన్ ఉందా. ఒకవేళ నెగిటివ్ ఎక్స్ప్లెనేషన్ లేకపోతే దానికి కనెక్షన్ పాయింట్ అనేది సెకండ్ ఆప్షన్ అవుతుంది. కానీ థర్డ్ ఆప్షన్ ఖచ్చితంగా ఏమవుతుంది, ఏదో ఒక నెగిటివ్ ఎక్స్ప్రెషనే అవుతుంది. గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద కేసెస్. ఓకే, సో ఫైనల్గా లాస్ట్ పాయింట్ అనేది ఏమై ఉండాలి, ఈ 3 పాయింట్స్ని ఎక్స్ప్రెస్ చేసే కంక్లూజన్ ఫైనల్ పాయింట్ అయి ఉండాలి. సో మీరు పారాజంబుల్లో గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాల్సిన రూల్, ఇంట్రడక్షన్, కనెక్టెడ్ పాయింట్, నెగిటివ్ ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్ అండ్ ఫైనల్ కంక్లూజన్. I hope I explained it and you guys got a little understanding of parajumble, introduction, connection point, negative expression and final conclusion of that particular topic. So if you have understood, please say yes, or if you want one more time, I'm ready to explain, guys. Okay, any other doubts, please let me know. Any other topics that you'd like to listen, like tenses or maybe verb forms or anything. The comment section is all open for queries, guys. Okay, So tenses is a vast topic that we all have been learning ever since like ages, maybe in second standard or third standard or something like that. But I'm going to make it really simple for you. And trust me, you can start the stopwatch also. I'll explain it like in 10 minutes. But I want you all to pay attention to the little detailings of tenses, because I am not going to draw one a typical table like v1 v2 v3, all these things. I won't do that. I will just explain you in the most simplest form, but I want you all to kind of pay attention and listen. Okay, let's get the topic started. Let's not delay it. For tenses, we have three important needs, guys. Okay, let me tell you. The first one is going to be helping verb. So helping verb is a must. Okay, next, main verb. So main verb is also a must, and you also need to know pronouns. So if we can know these three things, okay, then tenses, they're going to be a cakewalk for you. It's going to be like really, really easy. Okay, so now what are helping verbs? Let me tell you here. Do, does, they belong to one tense. Next, did. Next, is, am, are. Next, was and were. Okay, next, have, has. Okay, next, have been, has been. Next one, had, and next, had been, and will be, obviously. Okay, so just remember it in simple ways like this so that you'd understand a little. Whenever, so all these things, especially this particular table, you call them as helping verbs. So please remember, you call them as helping verbs. Do, does, did, is, am, are, was, were, have, has been, had been. All these things are called as helping verbs. Now, what are the main verbs that we get here? And even before I talk about main verbs, let me tell you something that main verbs ante, we have three different types of main verbs. Let's just look at what do we need for it. The main verb is four forms of verb. అంటే నేను ఇప్పుడు మీకు టిపికల్ క్లాస్ రూమ్ లాగా చెప్తే మీకు అర్థం అవ్వదు కాబట్టి ఒక చిన్న లూప్ హోల్తో చెప్తా వినండి. ఏంటి అంటే ఏ వర్డ్కైనా మనం గ్రామటికల్గా ఐఎన్జి రాయగలిగేలాగా ఉంటే దాన్ని మనం వర్బ్ ఫామ్ అంటాం. బేసిక్గా మీరు బయట ఇలా చెప్పకండి, ఇంటర్వ్యూస్లో బయటకు తోసేస్తారు. బట్ జస్ట్ మీకు చెప్తున్నాను దాట్ ఐఎన్జి రాసేలాగా ఏది ఉంటే కూడా దాన్ని మనం ఏమంటాము, మెయిన్ వర్బ్ ఫామ్ అని అంటాము. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, నేను ఈట్ అని చెప్పాను, ఈటింగ్. స్లీప్, స్లీపింగ్. టాక్, టాకింగ్. ఎంజాయ్, ఎంజాయింగ్. సో ఇప్పుడు నేను చెప్పిన ప్రతి వర్డ్కి మీరు ఐఎన్జి ఫామ్ రాయగలరు కాబట్టి దాన్ని మనం ఏమంటాము, మెయిన్ వర్బ్ అని అంటాము. ఓకే, సో ఇక్కడ మెయిన్ వర్బ్ డూ అండ్ డస్కి ఏమొస్తుందంటే V1 వస్తుంది. డిడ్కి ఏమొస్తుంది V1 అండ్ V2 వస్తుంది. ఈజ్ ఆమ్ ఆర్కి ఐఎన్జి వస్తుంది. వర్స్ వర్కి కూడా ఐఎన్జి వస్తుంది. హ్యావ్ హ్యాస్కి V3 వస్తుంది, అంటే ఈడీ ఫామ్ వస్తుంది. ఓకే, హ్యావ్ బీన్ అండ్ హ్యాస్ బీన్కి ఏమొస్తుంది, ఐఎన్జి వస్తుంది. మళ్ళా హ్యాడ్కి ఏమొస్తుంది, V3 వస్తుంది. హ్యావ్ బీన్ అండ్ హ్యాడ్ బీన్కి ఐఎన్జి, అండ్ మళ్ళా విల్కి V1. సో ఈ టేబుల్ ఫామ్ని మీరు కనుక కొంచెం సింపుల్గా గుర్తుపెట్టుకోగలిగితే మీకు చాలా చాలా ఈజీగా ఉంటుంది. ఓకేనా? సో వాట్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు రిమెంబర్ ఇస్ డూ అండ్ డస్ V1 ఫామ్, ఈజ్ ఆమ్ ఆర్ ఐఎన్జి ఫామ్, డిడ్ V1 అండ్ V2 ఫామ్. ఓకే, హ్యావ్ అండ్ హ్యాస్ V3 ఫామ్, అంటే ఐ హ్యావ్ టేకన్. ఓకే, ఐ హ్యావ్ అటెండెడ్. ఓకే, ఐ యామ్ టాకింగ్, షీ వాస్ ప్లేయింగ్. సో మీకు ఈ హెల్పింగ్ వర్బ్ అండ్ ఈ ఇంగ్ ఫార్మ్స్, అంటే విచ్ మీన్స్ బేసికలీ వర్బ్ ఫార్మ్స్ అనేవి మీకు గుర్తుంటే కనుక టెన్సెస్ని మనం చాలా చాలా ఈజీగా ఐడెంటిఫై చేయొచ్చు. ఓకే, okay, somebody said spotting errors, give tips for reading the passage, ma'am. Okay, so let me come one by one first. So somebody is talking about finding errors in sentence. How do we find errors in the sentence? Okay, so error sentence spotting మనం ఎలా చేస్తాము అంటే వెరీ సింపుల్. టెన్సెస్ని వల్ల మనకు తెలుస్తుంది. మనకు అలా టెన్సెస్ తెలియాలి అంటే కూడా నేను మీకు ఇక్కడ బోర్డు పైన ఏ ట్యాబ్లో ఫామ్ అయితే రాసానో మీకు అది వస్తేనే మీకు టెన్సెస్ అర్థమవుతుంది. లేకపోతే ఎర్రర్ కనెక్షన్ అనేది మీకు కొంచెం డిఫికల్ట్ అయిపోతుంది. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, ఇప్పుడు మనకి సెంటెన్స్లో వన్ ఆఫ్ అనేది ఉంది. మనం చెప్తాం కదా, వన్ ఆఫ్ మై ఫ్రెండ్, వన్ ఆఫ్ మై సిస్టర్స్, వన్ ఆఫ్ మై బ్రదర్స్. సో బేసిక్గా మనం ఏం చెప్తాము, వన్ ఆఫ్ మై సిస్టర్, one of my brother, one of the college, one of my friend. That is again a blunder, guys. Endukante you are talking about one in many. Ante వన్ ఆఫ్ మై ఫ్రెండ్స్ అంటే ఏంటి, నీకు చాలా మంది ఫ్రెండ్స్ ఉన్నారు, అంతమంది ఫ్రెండ్స్లో కూడా యు ఆర్ టాకింగ్ అబౌట్ వన్ ఫ్రెండ్. నేను చెప్పింది అర్థమవుతుందా? సో ఇలాంటి తెలియాలి అంటే మనకి లిటిల్ హియర్ అండ్ దేర్ గ్రామర్ నాలెడ్జ్ ఖచ్చితంగా ఉండాలి. సో మనకి టేబుల్ ఫామ్ వస్తే మాత్రమే మనకి టెన్సెస్ అండ్ ఎర్రర్ కరెక్షన్ అనేది మనకు అర్థమవుతుంది. ఓకే, అండ్ సంబడి వాజ్ ఆస్కింగ్ అబౌట్ స్పాటింగ్ ఎర్రర్స్. సో ఐ థింక్ స్పాటింగ్ ఎర్రర్స్ రావాలి అంటే మీకు ఖచ్చితంగా యూ నీడ్ టు హ్యావ్ టెన్సెస్ నాలెడ్జ్. ఓకే, ఏ టెన్స్ చేంజ్ చేయాలి అనేది ఎలా తెలుస్తుంది? ఇఫ్ టూ టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ టెన్సెస్ ఆర్ గివెన్, హౌ టు చూస్? ఓకే, సో లెట్ మీ టెల్ యూ, ఏ టెన్స్ చేంజ్ చేయాలి అనేది ఎలా తెలుస్తుంది అంటే, అక్కడ మనకి టెన్స్ చేంజ్ చేసేది ఏది ఉండదన్నమాట. బేసిక్గా మనకి టీసీఎస్ వర్బల్ ఎబిలిటీలో నీకు చేంజ్ ఫ్రమ్ దిస్ టెన్స్ టు దట్ టెన్స్ అనేది ఎప్పుడు కూడా ఇవ్వరు. నీకు జస్ట్ అక్కడ ఉన్న వాటిలో రాంగ్ ఆప్షన్ మాత్రమే పిక్ చేయాలి. అంటే నేను ఇందాక చెప్పాను కదా, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఐ వాజ్ వాచింగ్ మూవీ వెన్ షీ విల్ కమ్. నో, ఇక్కడ వాజ్ అనేది పాస్ట్ టెన్స్, విల్ అనేది ఫ్యూచర్. రెండు సెంటెన్సెస్లో అంటే విచ్ మీన్స్ ఒకటే సెంటెన్స్లో ఇటొక ఫస్ట్ పార్ట్ ఉంది, ఇటొక సెకండ్ పార్ట్ ఉంది. సో రెండు పార్ట్స్లో కూడా సేమ్ టెన్స్కి బిలాంగింగ్ అయి ఉండాలి. అంటే వాజ్ ఉంటే హ్యాడ్ కానీ డిడ్ కానీ ఉండాలి. ఈజ్ ఉంటే హ్యావ్ కానీ లేకపోతే హ్యావ్ బీన్ కానీ లేకపోతే డూ కానీ ఉండాలి. అంటే ఇచ్చిన సెంటెన్స్ మొత్తం ఒకటే టెన్స్లో ఉండాలి. ఐ హోప్ ఐ మేకింగ్ ఇట్ క్లియర్. ఇచ్చిన సెంటెన్స్ ఏదైతే ఉంటుందో ఆ సెంటెన్స్ మొత్తం కూడా ఇట్ హ్యాస్ టు బి ఓన్లీ ఇన్ ద వన్ టెన్స్. ఇట్ కాంట్ బి హాఫ్ పాస్ట్ టెన్స్, హాఫ్ ప్రెజెంట్ టెన్స్, హాఫ్ ఫ్యూచర్ టెన్స్ అనేది ఉండొద్దు. ఓకే, ఎస్. నెక్స్ట్, if you can see this, I want you all, I mean we will also share the pdf of this with you people. So మీకు టెన్సెస్ అనేది చాలా ఈజీగా అర్థమవుతుంది. టెన్సెస్ రావాలి అంటే మనకు కావాల్సింది హెల్పింగ్ వర్బ్స్ అండ్ మెయిన్ వర్బ్స్. సో మీకు ఈ హెల్పింగ్ వర్బ్స్ అండ్ ఈ మెయిన్ వర్బ్స్ కనుక మీకు వస్తే రెస్ట్ ఆల్ చాలా చాలా ఈజీ అవుతుంది. I hope everybody understood that. Yes or no maybe. If you can see, I want you all to just kind of make a note of it. Can I see yes or no in the comment section please? Okay, thank you guys. It was nice a session for me, taking this to you people. All I want you to understand is little practice is needed for reading comprehension. ఎందుకంటే ఇప్పుడు ఒక్క క్లాస్ వినేసాను నాకు రీడింగ్ కాంప్రిహెన్షన్ వచ్చేస్తుంది అంటే that's not how it's going to work. I want you all to understand that practice little of reading comprehension, parajumbles, finding error spot, all these things, so that your examination will become really easy for you, because the time duration that's given to you is just 25 minutes. 25 minutes and 25 questions. So you need to really spend good, I mean obviously decent time on your reading skills. Okay, so only like I said, meeku nen tips lo kuda oka point cheppanu, read carefully, read completely. You will be able to figure out what is the right answer only when you read. So please try to understand that and try to read as much possible as you all can, even before you take up your exam. Konni reading comprehension exercises practice cheyandi, that will be of a good help to you. And also, like we said, there are a couple of questions that we have displayed here are from the previous TCS NQT exam. Okay, so that's it guys, and I hope you all have understood it, and we are definitely going to share this with you. If you have seen it clearly, I want each and everyone to make a note of it, so that it's going to help you when you actually are looking for the help for tenses. Got it everyone? So that's pretty much it, and I hope that you all have understood the session of TCS NQT verbal ability. Just in case if you have any doubts, please drop them in the comment section. We will reply to you, and we will try to understand how else better we can serve you. Just in case if it is needed, we will also take one more class based on the verbal ability, especially for tenses, so that we can complete with one complete presentation of tenses, and I'll be able to help you all. Okay, so thank you everyone. It was a nice session, and have a happy evening guys. Thank you everybody. So like I said guys, If you have found it helpful, please do like it and keep watching it just in case whenever you need it. And if you have any doubts, please drop a comment. We will be replying to you. And if you'd like to listen to a little more of verbal ability classes, that also you please let us know. We will plan one more session for verbal ability. Okay, so wishing you all good luck. In the meantime, please try to practice as much as you can, especially reading comprehension. Okay, thank you everyone, and good luck with your exam from CV Corp, your career partner.